All right, welcome back to another episode of the Tempers Rising podcast. I believe this is episode 33, and today we're going to look at self-esteem, a little bit into tolerance and self-care. So if you've seen any of the stuff, you'll know that last week we ran a free challenge in the Limitless group, and it was based around 4 key elements that, when combined, create chaos within your world. So we looked at stress, fear, self-esteem, and confidence. Today, I wanted to give you a little look into one of those topics for the people who weren't in the group and didn't get the chance to listen to some of that stuff, because it was useful stuff and the people in the group got a lot out of it. So I'm going to take some time today to talk you through self-esteem. If you are a group member and you have already heard me talk about this, you can feel free not to watch this. But if you'd like to direct anyone towards it who you think might benefit from it, just tag them in the comments so that they can give this a watch. If at the end you are enjoying this, please feel free to hit the link to join the group, and then you'll be able to go back through all the other topics that I covered in the group last week. So you'll get access to that challenge. Obviously, it won't be live, but you will be able to recap everything that we did on those other topics. So self-esteem is very different to confidence. Okay, confidence is how you feel about your abilities and your own capacity. Self-esteem is how you feel about yourself and what others think of you. Okay, self-esteem has an impact on your confidence, but the two things are inherently different. How you feel about yourself is reflected in your actions. And if your actions are one that reflect really low self-esteem, you're probably never going to get to where you should be. You're going to be lacking a little bit in life. You're not going to achieve the goals and the dreams that you might envision in your head. So self-esteem sits usually behind low confidence. Generally, people who have low self-esteem tend to have low confidence as well. And if you have low confidence, it puts you in a position where you question your capacity, and then you're unable to take actions around that. So the two things are very closely linked. And the key takeaway is that they prevent you from taking action. Maybe it's because you don't feel worthy, or you feel unable, or you're worried about what other people might think of you. If you get it wrong, you'd be scared of looking stupid, and you'd have that fear of failure. And it generally comes from life experiences. You've heard me talk about feelings before, but feelings are the feedback to experience. And self-esteem is simply another feeling. It's just a feeling about our sense of self. So when you have an experience, your body processes that data. It takes it in through your senses, and you get a chemical feedback from that. Chemicals are released into the body, and you feel them. Your feelings. And we try to understand them by labeling them. We put labels on them, and then we call them emotions. And if they're significant enough, they're stored as memories. And memories within the human mind tend to be associative. The brain likes to work through association. It makes processing data much easier. It makes things faster and more efficient. So when you have a similar experience, or you feel something that is similar to an experience you had, you tend to relive the memory, and it will strengthen the neurological connection in the brain, and it makes it something that you tend to relive over and over again. And if you do that enough, it will become a belief. So if you have a belief that you are not good enough, and then you take actions around that and things are not going as well, you'll keep reliving it, and then it becomes ingrained into your brain. And you'll keep going on and on, because that's the pattern you tend to tread. It's the one that you go to naturally and easily. It's one of the reasons why affirmations and self-talk doesn't work, because you can tell yourself that you are confident and you are strong and you are amazing. But if you don't back that with feelings, then your brain is going to reject it as a false statement, because feelings always come first. To be something, you have to feel it. And it's really important that you remember that, okay? You cannot be anything without feeling it, okay? To be it, you have to feel it first. So to have higher self-esteem, you're going to have to feel that. And part of that can come from fixing relationship with other people. The experiences that you have with other people can obviously cause you self-esteem issues. You'll have that same process. You have the experience, you get the chemical feedback, you'll have the feelings, you'll store it, and it will become a belief. And if you have someone doing that to you over and over again, or telling you the same thing over and over again, it's going to stick, okay? Because as well as our body taking in data through experiences, we also learn through repetition. So if you're having these experiences repeatedly, it's going to stick, and then you're going to believe that you have low self-esteem, and it's going to get stuck, and then obviously you're going to prevent yourself from taking action. The reality with others is that you get what you tolerate. So part of improving your self-esteem is down to making sure people treat you better. So that can come from the people in your immediate circle, and it can even come from you. If you experience worthiness, you're going to feel it, and therefore you're going to believe it. So in allowing the people around you and the people in your life to treat you poorly, it's going to damage you, okay? And often people don't know that you're feeling that way. They don't know that you're that they're treating you badly, because you've enabled them to do that for such a long time. It's normal to them. You've tolerated it, so they continue to do it. They're unaware that their treatment of you is affecting you in such a way. But if you were to stand up and say to someone, look, the way you're making me feel isn't good, I don't like it, most people will have the capacity to say sorry and amend their behavior. Not everyone, but if they're a decent person and they care about you, then they should be able to amend their behavior. So it comes down to raising your standards. And the same goes for how you treat yourself. We often put everybody else's needs above our own, and our desire to please people is at our own expense, especially women who feel that they have all these different roles to fill. You have to be looking after the kids, you have to be making sure everybody's, where they should be. The only role you ever have to fill in your life is the role of being yourself. And if you can't be the best you, how can you be better for everyone else? When you take care of yourself, you're better able to take care of everyone else, which I say often because it's true. Self-care is 100% necessary for your self-esteem, and it's not selfish, it's a requirement. If you're going to live your best life, you have to take care of yourself. It's not selfish, it's about recognizing what you need and having enough compassion and self-love to act on it. And then when you do that, you boost your self-esteem naturally, because you're admitting to yourself that you actually matter and that you are worthy. It's one of the ways that you can experience worthiness without having to rely on others or external results. You have to nurture yourself, because if you don't, then you're going to end up burnt out and your self-esteem is going to go down. If you give, you end up empty and there's nothing left to give. You end up very low with very low self-esteem. And if you have low self-esteem, you're probably going to have low confidence, like I said at the beginning. And if you're in that position, you're never going to be able to take action, and you will never improve your life. So it comes back to three things. Making sure you understand your own feelings and accepting them for what they are. Feelings are just feelings. Your tolerance, so what you're tolerating from the people in your life. And then your self-care. What self-care activities are you doing every day to help raise your self-esteem? Okay. It's fairly straightforward, but it's something that is a massive issue for many people. And that self-esteem is linked closely, as I said, to confidence, to fear, to stress, all of those things that we covered last week in the Fatal 4 challenge. And it is only a small piece of the puzzle, but when it combines with all these other things, it has a massive impact. So what I would thoroughly advise you do is go into the group, send me a request, and you can join us, and then you'll be able to go through those other activities, and you'll be able to see how all of these pieces of the puzzle fit together. And then in doing that, you'll be able to do the activities in there and start to work on these 4 things, because it does have a massive impact on your ability to live a better life. So that's your call to action for today is just simply join us in the group. Use the link that I'm about to post in the comments. It's coming up. now. And then just go over that challenge, recap everything in there: stress, fear, confidence, self-esteem, see how it all links up, and then do the activities so that you can improve these aspects of your life. But that's it for today. Just a little bit on self-esteem. I'm going to be back next week with another episode. If there's anything in particular you want me to cover, just drop a comment in here and then I will add it to my list. Other than that, have a wonderful week.